Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Dylan, and I'm back again with another comic book review. Now, today, I want to talk about another Joe Hill presents Hill House Comics, The Low Woods, Issue 1. Now, this one, it was a great read, absolutely great. The ending left me a little confused, but we got Carmen Maria Machado writing, Danny and Tamra Bonvillain. I'm sure I butchered that. So sorry, but you know, this is a new number one. We haven't had a number one in a few weeks, or at least a couple months. Obviously the last number one we got was Dollhouse Family, so it was really cool to jump into something different. And I remember reading in the previews, the beginning starts exactly where the preview showed, with them, sitting in a movie theater, and the movie ends, and they fell asleep during the movie. The artwork is absolutely fantastic, and I thought the writing was really smooth. The ending, this was a lot of people um kind of hated on Basketful of Heads when they started doing a world building issue with the first issue. It didn't just, like, Dollhouse Family kind of jumped right in a little quicker. This one was a little bit more of like a world building issue, and I thought it read quite smoothly. It was really interesting, and I'm definitely interested to see where it's gonna go. We get chapter 6 of Sea Dogs in the back. Still two chapters this week, and we didn't really get much, I'd say, in it still. But they wake up, and it's about these two girls, Elle and Octavia, and they are best friends. And then do not know if both of them. I know that. Who is it? Octavia. I know Octavia. She likes. She is a she. She likes girls, and her best friend, I don't know, they don't say, maybe she might low-key have a crush on Octavia, but I'll show you right here. uh this girl right here is Elle, and then the one right there, that's Octavia. So they wake up and they're like, what's going on? Like, did we just sleep through the entire movie? Like, something happened to us. And they're like, we saw a movie, Elle. And they're like, we missed a movie. Like, no, something happened. Like, what do you remember? And they're like, not a lot. I remember holding the popcorn. No, I held the popcorn. Octavia's like, and they're really confused on what happened. And almost like they blacked out. And she's like, Elle's like to Octavia, did you have that mud on your shoes before? She's like, yeah, I think. And she's like, I don't think you did. And they're like, I think we fell asleep and had some weird dreams. And then when they walk out to the concession stand, and as they're leaving, they're like, hey Josh, is it just us here? And he's like, yeah, yeah, and they're like, we're the only ones in the theater? He's like, mm-hmm. And they're like, is there something you want to tell us, Josh? And he has this weird look, and he's like, wait, did you enjoy the movie? And they're like, no. By the way, I threw up in there. And he just gives them some creepy look. Like, maybe he knows something's up. Who the hell knows? He was just, maybe just a weird concession stand guy working at the movies. But as they're leaving, you can see that the movie that's being headlined is actually Sea Dogs, directed by Rob Reiner. So I thought that was a little cool homage to, the Hill House comic book world. And Octavia, they end up she rides on the back of the bike, and they ride together. Octavia gets pegged by Elle, and they're like, there's this novel called The Awakening. We read it in English last year. It was written almost 100 years ago. It's about a woman and a mother. She meets this guy, falls in love. She realizes how much her life she missed out on, how much she will continue to miss out on because she's a woman in the world, and that's just how things are. She kills herself at the end, walks into the ocean. I don't get being a wife or a mother, or the idea of a guy loving Jesus. The idea of loving a guy. Jesus. Okay, so off the rip, these are two, at least, Octavia is a girl that likes girls. I don't know. I mean, I guess, lesbian is not a bad word to say, I would say. I just, I never want to offend nobody. You know what I mean? So, this, yes. The thing is, I almost wouldn't doubt if Elle has a crush on Octavia, but they are best friends. You know, they're ride or die. They do everything together. And look, like Octavia is saying, she's like, I can't see being with a guy. But she's like, but I do know what it's like to be in one place in your life and then suddenly in another. Sometimes it's as complicated as understanding the world is not what you've always thought it was, but sometimes it's as simple as waking up. And they end up crashing, and they're like, goddamn fucking rabbits. Like, are you okay? And as they're looking, like, this artwork was splendid, really dark, and it really went well with this story. And we end up seeing this weird deer type hybrid. Like, I don't know what the hell it was, but it was creepy as hell. Like, like the top half is like human, but the head still has the horns. It has like human arms, but the back legs are like a deer. It was really cool. And they're like, fuck, 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 like they're freaking shit. And then it actually starts running towards them, so they hop quickly back on the bike, and they're like, we're fucking out of here, man. Like, we are out. And they're like, what the fuck was that thing? A really messed up deer, but it almost didn't it kind of look human? Like, what the fuck was that? They're like, maybe someone fucked up a spell, or maybe it came out of the crevice in the park. Well, like, maybe we should tell somebody. And they're like, what, and set off a curfew like last year? Fucking forget it, man. Like, I don't feel like evading monsters and cops at the same time. My legs are not that long, dude. And they're like, what happened to us in that theater, man? Like, and Octavia's like, I don't know. And she's like, do you think, like, I don't think anything. And Elle's like, liar. I know y'all don't know her very well yet, because it looks like this is coming out of like Elle's journal. And in a way, like, or it's just coming out of Elle's head, and she's like, but that's a really fucking funny thing for V to say. She's never not thinking. Like, did we get roofied or something? Did we have a collective stroke? Was Sea Dog so bad we just blocked it out? And Octavia's like, what? Like, no. Like, Elle's like, what about Josh? What the fuck was his deal? You know, like, Elle, he knew something. Like, I've known the dude since kindergarten. He's a mewling milquetoast piece of shit. And she's like, Elle, like, the whole world felt off kilter, like, shifted. Everything shifted here. More normal, more than normal. Like, I don't like it. And they're like, do you remember that story your grandmother told us about? The women around town used to forget things? Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I miss her. Yeah, me too. If I don't get home soon, my mom is gonna lose it. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see ya. Bells to rest. Lambs to slaughter. Night, V. And then, you know, they go home. They ride back and they start talking. Like, kind of like in the journal, Elle starts going like, years ago, something happened here and shudder to think. One day it was your regular piece of shit coal mining town where people died the way God and company intended, hacking up pieces of lung or crushed up 10 tons of rock. You know, the men were always sick from the mines. That's just how it was. Soot and smoke filled the air, dirtied up glass and curtains, and you were grateful for it. You were grateful that the company gave you opportunity to clean their messes, but the women got sick too, in their own way. They would forget things, wake up in strange places. People joked that you knew a girl that hit puberty when someone found her standing in a stupor in the church parking lot. Some women had it happen to them so many times they forgot their own names. Environmental dementia, doctors told them. Something in the air maybe, or the water. But then one day a fire started, but not the regular kind, underground. All of those coal mines started to catch fire, the companies and bootleg ones too. Some people thought it was lightning, others blamed a local garbage dump, the trash that smoldered there. Either way, the ground got hot and opened up. So I actually see like the ground actually opening up too, which was pretty cool. So this is like a tight-knit community. Like, it brings me back to like those old Stephen King movies in a way, where it's just like, it's a tight-knit community. This is a town where everybody knows everybody, and just there's secrets behind this town. There is some dark secrets, and there's a fucked up past. And this shit, man, is just it. You know, this issue really set up some stuff. The ending left me like, what the hell did I just read? But until the last page, I was like, wow, it just read so smoothly, man. I really enjoyed it. It was it was really enjoyable, and I really enjoyed reading it a second time as well. It's a quick read as well too, you know. They're like, imagine all that heat, nowhere to go, earth splitting like a thickened skin on the back of your heel, smoke filling the air like edges of a dream. The ground was lousy with sinkholes, cellars became hot as ovens, food spoiled, milk curdled, babies were born with placentas black as soot, so glossy and opaque it looked like their mothers were birthing coal itself. People couldn't breathe, dead babies crawling in their cradles. Some of them, the women, disappeared in the night. Some of the men, too, they went underground and never came back up. The company kept the men down there until they started refusing to go. So the company brought in new men from West Virginia. That's how Octavia's granddad got here. Anyway, soon those men started refusing too. The company shut things down for good, but the fire kept burning. The winter I was born, my mom told me the snow would melt and then evaporate the moment it hit the ground. You could walk across town after a blizzard and never get your feet wet. The company keeps trying to buy up our houses, get people to move. They tell us one day the government will raise the church and take your zip code. The government will make us leave soon enough, they say, and pay us far less than what they're offering. And some folk did go. They packed up and drove away and left everything behind. I know what you're thinking. Why did anyone stay? I don't know why anyone stays anywhere. They don't understand how bad things are. They don't have the means to leave. They can't bring themselves to abandon everything they know, everything they love, and man, it was just real. This was really good, you know. So half the town is empty or half full. I guess it depends on your perspective. Either way, it's like a very slow apocalypse. One day, someone will wake up and the shudder to think, and they'll be the last person here. But they're like, don't tell V I said this, but school is fucking bullshit. And she's like, well, you know, they start talking about like this. They start introducing like all the kids that are in class, and they're like, Morgan, she's hot shit because she's descended from the Molly Maguires. And you know, they talk about how the one girl hasn't been the same since Kurt Cobain died. And then there's Jessica, who's like the hot girl, the hottest blonde. And that's who Jesus that's who Jesus, why did I just forget her name? I feel so stupid for that. That's who Octavia has a huge crush on. Okay, yeah, I was reading it wrong because they call her V. Octavie, that her nickname's V. V's had a thing for Jessica since the 5th grade. I don't quite get it. I mean, Jessica's hot. Her mom was a beauty queen. But, you know, she looks like a model torn out of a magazine, and not in a good way. I worry if I step past her too quickly, the pages will turn. Octavia says that's sexist. She's probably right. So, you know, they're like talking, and they're like talking in the hallway, and the hot girl ends up walking past her, and Elle actually it talks to her teacher about having like a real good chance of getting into a college. Like, have you given any thought about our conversation about college applications? She's like, you know, I haven't given thought about any of that really. She's like, well, it's very important to me. You know, it's probably the most important time of my life. I just want to make sure that you understand your options. You're a fantastic writer, I just think. And she's like, you know, my mom is a waitress, my dad's on disability. Like, I wish I got how few I wish you got how few options I actually have. And the teacher kind of takes that hard because she is trying to help Elle as best as she can, and it just, you know, she's kind of just putting it down like, I'm not gonna make it. And that's pretty sad, you know, because if she's that smart, she could get a scholarship, you know. But Jessica walks past her. They end up riding back home, and they just make their little fun jokes back and forth, you know. And Octavia's like, you know, promise me you're not gonna think about the theater anymore. She's like, how about you tell me now? How about you don't tell me what to do? She's like, fine, make yourself miserable then. And she's like, yeah, go ahead and have fun, lover girl. So then Octavia ends up going to hang out with her high school crush since the 5th grade. Her and Jessica end up getting it on too. That was actually like, crazy. I was actually surprised because I actually thought that like Octavia was kind of like Jessica was kind of out of her league. I mean, Octavia does look like a pretty girl for sure, but I was just surprised that they ended up getting together so quickly. They almost made it seem like she's always had a crush on her, and you know, like, I don't know. The thing was, she walks right past her too, and then I guess, you know, they must be closer than you think, is what I'm guessing, you know. She ends up kind of like Jessica, I guess, gives her like a look or something, and then they end up meeting up later, and they end up getting it on, like I said. And you know, that's when the things about the birds, they warn us with their presence, with their absence, with their song, with their silence, their flight, the way they flood the skies. They're the closest thing we have to prophecies. Except prophecies, they're always telling us what we need to know long before we know it. And as she gets up, like, you know, to go to the bathroom because she kind of they passed out for a few hours, and it's like 1 in the morning. She's like, oh crap, like I should be getting home. Like I should have probably, it's late. Like I don't know if they're at Jessica's house or if they're at Octavia's, but I think she kind of freaks out because she's probably supposed to get home, and she's like, I wonder if they wonder why we never listen. And boom, this is the part where I was like, what the fuck what just happened here? And she looks at Jessica, and there's just a big gaping hole in her stomach. Like, I don't even know. Like, let me know in the comments down below, you guys, what you thought of that. I was really surprised when I read that for the first time. I was like, what did I just read? Like, I understood 99% of the book, and then that last page, I'm like, what the hell was that? Is it like is it like some sci-fi type thing? Or like, well, I don't know, man. It's crazy, but I really am interested to know what you guys thought in the comments down below. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button on your way out, hitting that subscribe, hitting that bell notification so you get all updates on upcoming videos, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.